So what do we have today? This is going to be quite interesting because detachable USB Type-C, we have switch and keycap remover, 2 additional switches, and TKL version, which you know I love. And in general, I think this will be quite interesting for you guys that are looking for something that is more in the budget segment but still gets all the kicks that you need for a nice gaming session. So this is Genesis THOR 404 TKL hot swappable mechanical gaming keyboard with of course RGB lights and as already stated, detachable USB Type-C cable. Braided, I do have to say, it's even braided, so this is really cool. I didn't take it out of the foil and everything, but we'll get to that part later on. Now, as I stated, we also have a keycap remover on one side and switch remover on the other, and 2 additional switches. Now, this is quite cool because, I don't know, if 2 really get destroyed after your gaming sessions, it's most likely going to be 4 WASD, but regardless of that, we have Gateron Yhello switches right here, and these are quite nice, I do have to say. So when you take into consideration that these are Gateron Yhello Pro linear switches, they're quite quiet, I do have to admit. And we have hot swap 5-pin socket, RGB Prismo effects. Then we go to the switch specs. So 2mm actuation point, 4mm keystroke distance, 50 grams pressing force, 1 millisecond response time, and 52 decibel loudness. I would say that the pressing force is a bit lower, at least in my opinion. So that's it. It doesn't matter actually, but I have to point it out. So we have laser engraved multimedia shortcuts. And this is really cool because they start from F1 to F8 and you go with opening multimedia, then you have adjusting volume, muting volume, pause, other multimedia buttons as well, fast forward, fast backward, and then we have mail, calculator, switching on and off the lights and the Windows lock. Detachable cable, double shot keycaps, but they aren't PBT, they are ABS. Dual foldable feet. In those terms, you have a possibility to adjust the angle in 3 possibilities, right? So you have the standard option, then you have the smaller one, which raises up a bit, I would say, just a bit, and then the third one actually goes really high. All legs have rubber feet just in case the keyboard doesn't slip, and if you remove the feet and place them in a stock position, you have 5 rubber feet back at the bottom of the keyboard. Now looking at the keyboard, you have some presets. You have FPS, LOL, race, and then you can do 1-2 additional with record buttons. Now this is really cool. Windows locks button, of course, and for adjusting the RGB, FN plus insert, home, delete, and of course the arrows. Arrows go for the brightness adjustment and for the speed of the Prismo effect. That's really cool. Also, FN button plus escape has a refresh. So yeah, that's something additional what I haven't noticed. 2 indication lights, caps lock and screw lock, and what we have, high quality looped stabilizers. We're going to check that for sure. 18 backlight modes, hot swappable 5-pin socket, and 2 spare switches with 2-in-1 keycaps plus switch puller in the box. The communication with PC is wired with 1.8 meter braided cable, USB Type-C. The dimensions of the keyboard 358 times 133 times 38 millimeters. We have 87 keys with 11 multimedia keys. Pulling rate is 1000 Hz. Key lifespan is 60 to 80 million presses. Now this is interesting because you have 2 possibilities of switches in this one. You have Gateron Yhello Pro Linear and you have Keilich Box Brown V2 Tactile. The Gateron Yhello Pro go up to 60 million presses, while the Keilich Box Brown V2 go up to 80 million. When it comes to compatibility for the switches, all brands and models with 3-pin or 5-pin switches can be placed on this keyboard. And this is really cool because for this price, you can change the switches to your liking if you desire to do so, and you can always go with their double shot ABS, those custom, if you remember I did the video, those custom keycaps, and make it a bit different, you know, to pimp it up a bit, let's put it that way. But regardless of that, let's check out the typing. So it's quite interesting. First of all, I do have to say that the typing is really pleasing because they are standard keycaps. There's nothing spectacular about that, I do have to say. So when you're typing, the sound is really soothing, and the linear actually is quite nice when you type. It all depends on your personal preferences. I won't go into that. There is no echo in this board, without a doubt, because I don't know if they have some foam inside or anything similar to that. It doesn't create echo. There is no ping. There is no nothing. Just regular click clacks from the switches and the keycaps. One thing when we're talking about the stabilizers and what they mentioned on their box and on their website, they are really good. Not extremely good, but really good. And I'm quite surprised because the spacebar, when you check it out, when you press it on each side, it evenly goes down and is pressed. Okay. And the movement is slight when you push it up or down, the spacebar, of course. So it's really minimal. The horizontal movement is top notch, no problem. Shift actually has less movement when we're going and pushing it forward and backward, and it has a bit of wobbliness when you're sliding your finger left and right, but still does even press, as well as the enter and backspace shift as well. So I would say that, okay, we can't expect premium quality here in those terms, and I wouldn't say quality, I would say more like a premium response, premium stabilizers, premium keycaps and all the other stuff. We can't expect that, especially for the price. I mean, this price is quite outstanding when we take into consideration all the multimedia buttons, RGB, detachable braided Type-C cable, hot swappable 3-pin and 5-pin switches, and ABS double shot keycaps. Quite cool. Now, usually when we take into consideration the cable and when it's packed like this and boxed for quite some time after it comes out of the factory, usually it's quite stiff, and I have an issue specifically when we're talking about this type of braided cable, that it kind of gets really stiff. But this one is really nice and flexible, and I do have to say on each part it's really nice. So I do have to admit I'm really loving it. When we're talking about the port and the connection at the back, this is really cool. The USB Type-C is, I would say, for a centimeter placed inside, so you don't get accidental movements or anything similar to that. It's not placed deeper inside, so you don't have any canals here at the back, but I think this is quite alright, and it's placed right in the center of the keyboard, which is still okay. So as I stated, when we're talking about the RGB lights, FN plus arrows, and insert home, delete and end to adjust everything, and this gives you an option to change the modes, change the lights. It's all up to you. As you can see, you can really do wonders, and you have loads of modes to choose from. Of course, the brightness and the speed as well, so this is quite cool. When we're talking about the actual brightness, unfortunately, throughout the keycaps, they are barely seen. The RGB see-through from the keycaps is a bit tinted, and it's most likely because it's a double shot. But here on the side, you can actually see the RGB, and that's quite alright. I mean, it kind of gives additional here light, but it doesn't give that light throughout the keycap, which is a shame since it is nicely etched, but obviously not enough for the light to shine properly, right? But I wouldn't take that into consideration. What we have to take into consideration is the price and what you're getting for that, and I think this is quite solid. I'm really liking the possibility of changing switches, which is quite nice. And I do have to say, these Yhello Pro switches, I don't think you'll be wanting to change. Of course, if you have personal preferences, it's all up to you to decide at the end. But for me personally, these are quite suitable, quite fine. Maybe 2mm of actuation distance is a bit too long when we're comparing standard switches and low profile switches, since I'm used to low profile switches. But regardless of that, I think this keyboard is quite alright in general when we take literally everything into consideration. So here we go, guys. Genesis THOR 404 TKL hot swappable mechanical gaming keyboard. You'll be satisfied when you take into consideration everything that I mentioned and the price at the same time. This is a good combination for starting in that hot swap possibilities, giving you possibility to experiment by yourself, and still for a nice price. And you get 2 additional switches, you get keycap and switch remover and detachable USB Type-C cable. So yeah, I think I gave you loads of information to think about. But if that's not enough, the link for the Genesis THOR 404 TKL is in the description below, so you can check out more details, price, and everything that you need to know about the keyboard. Thanks for watching today's one. Don't forget to sub, like, and hit the notification bell for the future content that will be regularly coming to you. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.